Imagine a timeline. It stretches from a name to the present day. This timeline tells the story of a remarkable Caribbean island. Long before recorded history, native peoples made this island their home. They lived in harmony with the lush forests and the surrounding sea. Then, centuries ago, ships from Europe appeared on the horizon. This marked the beginning of a new and turbulent chapter. Two great powers fought for control: France, Britain. Their struggle shaped the island's destiny for generations. Then, a new chapter began. In the year 1979, the island stepped onto the world stage as an independent nation. Today, St. Lucia stands as a peaceful and proud country. This essay will explore that journey, from its ancient name to its modern identity. This island's story is one of constant transformation. Every name has a story. The name of St. Lucia is no different. It is a name rooted in faith and history. The island was named in honor of St. Lucy of Syracuse. She was a Christian martyr who lived many centuries ago in what is now Italy. Her story is one of great courage and devotion. According to tradition, early European sailors, possibly from France, first sighted or landed on the island on a very specific day. That day was December 13th. December 13th is the feast day of St. Lucy. Explorers often named lands after the saint of the day. Naming was more than convenience. It was a declaration. It linked the new land to European culture and religion. The original French name was Saint Lucie. As British influence grew, it was anglicized to Saint Lucia. The core story stayed the same. It's a reminder of colonial roots and religion's role in exploration. The name is now part of the island's identity, spoken with pride. Long before the sails of European ships appeared on the horizon, St. Lucia was already home. The island's earliest known inhabitants were a people called the Siboney. They were hunter-gatherers who likely migrated from the South American mainland thousands of years ago. Archaeological evidence suggests they lived simple lives, using tools made of stone and shell. They were the first to walk the island's beaches and explore its dense forests. Their presence represents the deepest layer of human history on St. Lucia, a time before agriculture and permanent villages. Their story is quiet, told mostly through the ancient artifacts they left behind for us to find. After the Siboney, a new group of people arrived. They were the Arawaks. The Arawaks were skilled farmers and potters. They established settled communities and cultivated crops such as cassava, corn, sweet potatoes. The Arawaks were known for their peaceful nature and their intricate pottery. They lived in villages, often near the coast, where they could take advantage of the rich marine life of the Caribbean Sea. The Arawak period was followed by the arrival of another group from South America, the Caribs. The Caribs were known as formidable warriors and expert seafarers. They gradually displaced the Arawaks on St. Lucia and many other islands in the Lesser Antilles. The Caribs fiercely defended their territory and way of life. They farmed, fished, and voyaged in large canoes for trade, travel, and warfare. The arrival of Europeans in the 1500s marked the beginning of a long and violent period in St. Lucia's history. The island's strategic location in the Caribbean made it incredibly desirable. Perfect base for ships, fertile land for valuable crops. Spain showed interest but did not settle permanently. France became a rival. Britain became a rival. For nearly 200 years, they waged a relentless battle for control. The island became a pawn in global imperial ambitions, where rivalry played out in blood and fire. St. Lucia earned a dramatic nickname, the Helen of the West Indies. A comparison to Helen of Troy, a beautiful woman over whom a great war was fought. St. Lucia was fought over again and again. The French and British flags were raised and lowered here 14 times. Each change brought new governors, new laws, new waves of violence. Forts appeared on strategic hills. Cannons were installed. Soldiers fought and died on the island. The main economic engine was sugar. Vast sugar plantations were established by both powers. Hundreds of thousands of enslaved Africans were forcibly transported to work them. Chattel slavery was brutally cruel, stripped of freedom, stripped of families, stripped of humanity. They toiled under horrific conditions to produce sugar for European empires. Resistance, both passive and active, showed incredible bravery and endurance. The long struggle ended in 1814. The Treaty of Paris ceded St. Lucia permanently to Great Britain. 20 years later, in 1834, slavery was abolished across the British Empire. The population of St. Lucia today is a vibrant reflection of its complex history. The vast majority of St. Lucians, nearly 90%, are of African descent. This demographic reality is a direct legacy of the colonial era and the brutal system of slavery. The ancestors of most of the island's people were brought from West Africa against their will to labor on the sugar plantations. Their resilience, culture, and traditions survived the horrors of slavery and have become the bedrock of modern St. Lucian society. The African influence is profoundly felt in the island's music, its food, its language, and its entire way of life. It forms the very heart of the nation's identity. While people of African descent form the majority, St. Lucia is a multicultural society with smaller but significant groups of different ancestries, including a notable multiracial population. There is also a small population of European descent. Their influence is seen in architecture, place names, and legal systems. Another important thread is the Indo-Caribbean community. After abolition in 1834, indentured laborers from British India arrived. Though fewer than in some neighbors, they added foods, religious practices, and traditions. The fusion over generations has created a uniquely St. Lucian identity. This diverse population shares a common linguistic landscape. The official language of St. Lucia is English. It is the language of government, education, and business. However, in homes, markets, and the streets, St. Lucian Creole French, Creole, thrives, a fusion of French vocabulary and African grammar, a powerful symbol of pride. Religion plays a central and visible role in the daily life of St. Lucia. The island is predominantly Christian, a direct result of its long history of European colonization. The most significant religious group is the Roman Catholic Church. This strong Catholic presence is a legacy of the centuries of French rule. Catholic churches grace nearly every town and village. Bells mark the day. Services knit communities. Alongside the Catholic majority are Anglicans, Seventh-day Adventists, Pentecostals, and Baptists. Beyond Christianity, a small but visible Rastafarian community, Muslims, and Hindus contribute to the island's spiritual mosaic. For most St. Lucians, faith provides a moral compass, a source of comfort, and a framework for community life. Social life centers on family and community. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins supporting one another. Respect for elders and tight community bonds are strong, especially in villages. This cohesion helps people weather economic hardships and hurricanes. Music and dance are everywhere: soca, calypso, reggae, zouk, culminating in Carnival's explosion of color. Food blends African, French, Creole, and Indian influences, with fresh fish, tropical fruits, and ground provisions at its heart. These cultural expressions are the living, breathing heart of St. Lucian society. Today, the economy of St. Lucia has moved far beyond the sugar plantations of its colonial past. The single most important pillar is tourism. The island's breathtaking natural beauty is its greatest economic asset. Sun-drenched beaches, lush rainforests, the world-famous Piton Mountains. Each year, hundreds of thousands arrive by air and by cruise ship. They relax on sandy shores, hike the mountains, and experience vibrant culture. Tourism provides thousands of jobs in hotels, restaurants, transportation, and tour operations. Agriculture still matters. Bananas once dominated and supported thousands, but trade changes forced diversification. Farmers now grow cocoa, coconuts, mangoes, and root vegetables for local use and export. Small-scale fishing remains vital for food. The government seeks diversification, foreign investment, offshore banking, and light manufacturing. Remittances from the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom support many families across the island. Challenges remain: unemployment and infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals. New threats loom: climate change, rising seas, stronger hurricanes. Yet the St. Lucian spirit remains strong. Pride in independence, unique culture, and natural heritage.